You know, we ask questions to AI all day long, but have you ever really stopped to think about what's physically happening when you hit enter? Well, it turns out that behind every single query, every image you generate, every little bit of code, there is a massive, very real, and very loud factory working overtime.
And listen, this isn't some far-off future we're talking about. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, he said this recently. And what he's saying really sets the stage for a transformation that is already happening right now, as these new American factories pop up at a totally astonishing rate. So you gotta wonder, right? These data centers are appearing everywhere. They're fenced off like prisons, they've got massive generators humming outside, but what is actually going on in there? What are they even making inside these giant white boxes?
All right, to find out, we're going to go inside one of the biggest independent AI data centers out there. It's a CoreWeave facility, just on the outskirts of Las Vegas. And I got to tell you, it is an intense place to be.
The very first thing that hits you is the sound. People have called it unholy. I mean, imagine opening a broom closet and finding a jet engine roaring inside. That is the sound of thousands and thousands of fans, all working nonstop to keep these incredibly powerful microchips from melting down.
And what about the people who actually work here? Well, one engineer just put it bluntly, tinnitus is an occupational hazard. It's a physically grueling job. A manager there even said they look for endurance athletes who can handle a lot of pain. And this is what they're looking after. This is the basic building block of the whole AI factory. It's a rack, a little taller than your refrigerator, and it's just jam-packed with these water-cooled GPUs. Those are the specialized chips from Nvidia that are basically the engines of AI. And you see dozens of these things stretching off into the distance, each one of them using more electricity in a year than 100 homes combined.
And the price tag for just one of these racks? A cool $3 million. That is a staggering amount of money. And it's even more incredible when you find out how the company that owns them, CoreWeave, actually got its start.
So yeah, let's talk about CoreWeave, because their story, it just perfectly captures the explosive, almost accidental feel of this entire AI gold rush.
It's just a wild story. Back in 2016, a few traders at a hedge fund started mining crypto just to pay the entry fee for their fantasy football league. No joke. It was so profitable, they quit their jobs, bought thousands of these GPUs, and started running them out of a garage. Then, in 2022, they discovered the image generation AI Stable Diffusion, and they realized they were basically sitting on a gold mine. They pivoted the whole company, and today, those founders are billionaires. So what are their customers doing with all this incredible computing power? Well, they're doing what the industry calls hero runs. This is when a huge company, think OpenAI or Meta, rents out an entire data center, tying it up for weeks and weeks at a time just to train one single massive AI model. And that whole process is unbelievably intensive. And that brings us to the real cost of these so-called hero runs. The price for all this progress is an absolutely unquenchable thirst for energy and resources. And to really get why, you have to understand how these massive AI models actually learn. So how does an AI learn, anyway? In short, it's basically trial and error on a cosmic scale. It all starts with a file of random numbers they call weights. The AI makes a prediction, it gets it wrong, and then the system tweaks those weights just a little bit to learn from the mistake. Now try to imagine repeating that process 10 trillion times. That's more operations than there are stars in the observable universe, all just to tune a single AI model.
The amount of electricity you need for something like that it's just mind-boggling. A single new AI data center can demand about 1 gigawatt of power. Now, to put that in perspective for you, that is enough electricity to power the entire city of Philadelphia. One data center.
So you have to ask, where is all this new power going to come from? Well, in the short term, it's coming from fossil fuels. There's a coal plant in Pennsylvania that was shut down, and now it's being converted into a massive natural gas plant just for data centers. And, hey, remember 3 Mile Island? The nuclear plant that was closed down in 2019? It's now set to reopen, thanks to a contract with Microsoft.
This crazy demand for land and power isn't just some abstract problem for the electrical grid. No, it's fundamentally reshaping actual communities and the American landscape itself.
Just look at this comparison right here. It tells the whole story. On one side, you've got a 4th-generation family farm. We're talking nutrient-rich topsoil that was cultivated for decades, where the power lines were just a liability, something that got in the way. On the other side, you've got the data center,
built on land that sold for over $1 million an acre, where that same precious topsoil got scraped away in a single day, because now those power lines are the single most valuable asset.
And here is the incredible irony in all this. One farmer whose family is selling off the land they've worked for generations was asked if he uses AI himself. His answer? I use Claude. Google sucks now. He is actively using the exact technology that is displacing his way of life. It's just a perfect snapshot of the incredibly complex trade-offs that are right at the heart of this revolution.
Now, all of this feels like a revolution, for sure, but it's also a massive, high-stakes bet. And that begs the question, is this incredible boom just another speculative bubble that's waiting to pop?
To really understand the risk, it helps to look back at history. In the 19th century, building out the railroads took up 6% of the US GDP. It completely transformed the country, yeah, but it also led to a massive speculative bubble and the Panic of 1893. Today, data centers are projected to be about 2 to 3% of GDP. And you're seeing some very similar warning signs, a frothy venture capital market and stock valuations that feel an awful lot like the dot-com era.
And this entire bet really rests on some huge unknowns. I mean, we just assume that more computer chips will always equal a smarter AI, but honestly, nobody knows if that's going to continue. A new, more efficient technology could make these billion-dollar factories totally obsolete overnight. Developers could actually run out of high-quality data to train these things on. And maybe, just maybe, are investors simply expecting way too much, way too soon?
Jeff Bezos captured the mood perfectly with this comment. The amount of money that is pouring into tiny teams that have no actual product is unlike anything we have ever seen before. It's a sign of either incredible foresight or incredible froth.
Look, the AI revolution is absolutely here. It's reshaping our landscape, our power grid, and our entire economy. The real question isn't whether it's happening. The question is what we as a society are truly willing to pay for it. In the end, what is the real price of all this intelligence?